Hey there, it's wonderful to have you here. I just had a member of my Stubborn Child Solutions Facebook group send me this question, which was basically how to stop angry child from hitting and saying hurtful words. If you have ever had your child say, I hate you, even maybe like in this case, I wish you were dead, or start hitting you and you are embarrassed by it or just so frustrated because you don't know what to do, you are in the perfect place. And I am so glad you've joined me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you know of a mom who could really use some support in this area, please do her a favor and pass it on. So I had this member anonymously send it to me. And I so appreciate it because I think all of us can relate to those behaviors that maybe are done in public and you're just like, oh my gosh, I am so embarrassed. I can't believe that's my kid. Or do it behind the scenes where you're so hurt by their words. There's an old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words should never hurt me. And as hard as it can be, this really comes from the first step on my Peaceful Parenting Path 9-step program, which is parent yourself. In order to make change, in order to stop the angry child behavior and cycle from getting out of control, we need to get in the driver's seat of our parenting. What do I mean by that? Essentially, it means parenting ourselves. It means not just reacting out of anger, because our children, all of them, especially stubborn kids, watch what we do far more than they ever listen to what we say. So I've got some tips from you that I want you to really consider. And if you have questions that you really are like, yeah, Kelly, but how does that work here? Please send them to me so I can help you and help others as well. So the first tip I have for you comes from one of my temper tamers in step 4, which is finding your superpower. And the superpower I want to talk about is that force field that deflects attacks. So if you are feeling hurt by your child's words or feeling automatically like intolerable, like I can't believe they just said that or they just swore at me. When we come with such a force of A, anger, or B, hurt, where we're withdrawing, neither of those strong-willed kids respect. And strong-willed kids will not listen to what we say, will not learn from their mistakes until they actually respect the person who is doling out the misbehavior or redirecting the behavior or connecting with them. They have to feel connected to that parent, to you, before you can really shift behavior. So just looking at my notes here, I think it's really important to remember that our children's misbehavior, that misbehavior that drives you bonkers, that you feel is so disrespectful, maybe when they hit you, is actually a solution they found to get one of their needs met. On some level, it's working for them. And generally speaking, if you have a true blue, angry child, stubborn child, how it's working for them is it's either getting 3 needs met I'm going to talk about: a feeling of control or power. Number 2, a feeling of getting back at you. And number 3, a feeling of attention, like just getting attention from you. So I come from a Adlerian psychology background. Adler was a contemporary of Freud and Jung. Most people haven't heard of Adler, even though he was one of the first to really talk about birth order and to really look at that all of us as human beings need a couple of things, that we're social creatures. And 2 things we need, which is belonging and a sense of control, a sense of autonomy, or what he called significance. And if those 2 needs don't get met in a healthy way, they come at it from an unhealthy way. So one of the easiest ways to get their belonging needs met is to demand attention. So as soon as you're on the phone, as soon as you're busy trying to get work done, they're tugging at your sleeve or they're interrupting constantly to say, hey, look at me, here I am. The second way that they get their more control needs met is by just out and out saying, no, talk to the hand, I'm not listening, or whatever, or just ignoring you completely. Or if it's gotten to a point where they feel hurt or they don't feel that they've had enough control or someone is too controlling in their life, what they can do is want to attack back and get back at you and hurt you or spite you. And that can be hitting, that can be using those words of swearing, I hate you, saying really hurtful words. So how do we get that force field going that deflects this? A couple things to keep in mind. Put my glasses back on. The first one is oftentimes that if we're feeling hurt, we've really gone into a tender place, maybe from our own childhood, or maybe we're not feeling good about ourselves. And when we're coming from that place, we're not parenting from a place of strength, a place of confidence. We're parenting from a lack of confidence. And when we do that, we can basically start using the behaviors that we say we don't like in our kids. So we talked about finding your superpower of deflecting that. The second thing I want to talk about is being the change. I'm paraphrasing Gandhi, actually. Gandhi had a great quote saying, be the change you wish to see in the world. I believe that one of the most powerful things you can do if you really want to change your angry child's behavior is to be the change you wish to see in your child. So this means taking one big magnifying glass, but looking at yourself and your own behavior. So in this case, if your child is hitting, or when you go to discipline, say they're not respecting rules around TV, and you go and you snatch that TV remote away. If you're snatching that TV remote away from a place of anger, you're teaching your child that when you don't agree with something that's going on, or when something doesn't seem fair, that snatching coming from anger is the thing to do. And they will just mimic you in a monkey see, monkey do type fashion. So is this easy to do? Heck no. It's darn right hard sometimes, especially in the moment. But if there is a real history of your child's behavior is amping up, you need to make some changes. The third thing that I want to share here is what I call the F factor, which is not maybe the F word you're thinking of, which you might feel at times for all I know. But this comes from step 5 in my program, which is team family. How do you come from it where you're not adversaries? Your child isn't constantly fighting you, where you feel like they are on the opposite side. You say, jump, they say no. You say come, they say no way. One of the things you can do is to make sure, how much fun are you having as a family? How connected are you? Are you constantly pointing out their faults and what's not going right? Or are there times where you're having fun, you're connecting with them? Because again, if you have a child who's really getting into the hurtful words, often somewhere along the line, they have felt hurt. And hey, this isn't to say to feel guilty about this or make you wrong at all. What I'm really inviting you to do is to take a look and say, hey, have we been putting time in where we're just connecting, where we're having more hugs, where we are going to the playground and having fun together, or we're having a tickle fight together, just when things aren't so darn tense. Because if you are constantly living in a tense environment, your child is in that tense soup and they are going to react to it. I'm going to leave you with this. Many stubborn children are highly sensitive children in disguise. And until we lead by example, until we don't take things so personally, we can't actually be the parent they need to lead them out of the angry child cycle. I am so glad you're here, because I know that raising a truly bona fide stubborn child is one of the hardest things to do on this planet. And if you haven't heard this lately, thank you for all you do as a parent, day in and day out. I know it's not a sprint, it's a darn marathon that can be hard. If you like what you hear here and you're not yet a member of my Stubborn Child Solutions Facebook group, come on over. I would love you to be a part of this supportive community. And if you are, reach out to me. If you have questions, you're like, this is happening in my household all the time, let me know, because it's questions like from our members, from you, that help me support other moms like you who may be struggling. And isn't it time for you to have your own Stubborn Child Solutions turnaround? I want to be there for you.